Scene 1, Opening. Voiceover of the journalist, Epic Tone. The year 2147 marks a historic turning point for humanity. After decades of research, we are finally ready to cross the boundaries of the solar system. Today, 5 brave explorers are preparing to embark on an unprecedented mission, to reach Kepler 438b, a potentially habitable exoplanet located 470 light-years away.
Introduction of the main characters. Commander Elena Voss. She is 38 years. She is a former military pilot and the team. She is authoritative but fair. She hides a deep loneliness due to the loss of her family in a climatic disaster on Earth. Lieutenant Maya Torres. She is 29. She is the chief engineer, expert in life support systems and ship maintenance. She is pragmatic and sarcastic. She often disagrees with Elena, but remains loyal to the team. Maya's left arm was replaced by a bionic arm following an accident, giving her great strength. Aliu Jallo, 35, a former herdsman who became a very brilliant pilot. He is the secondary pilot and artificial intelligence specialist. He is calm, thoughtful and very tied to his African culture. But he has an ambiguous relationship with Maya. Dr. Amir Khan. He is a 42-year-old astrophysicist with transparent glasses, specializing in black holes and temporal anomalies. He is curious and optimistic, with an unwavering belief that the mission to Kepler 438b will transform humanity's understanding of the universe. Dr. Sofia Alvarez, 31. She is the biologist and exobiologist of the mission. She is passionate about the search for extraterrestrial life. Dr. Alvarez is idealistic and empathetic. She dreams of discovering a new form of life.
Scene 2, Elena Voss inspects the ship.
Commander Voss inspects the main ship, checking every detail meticulously. She briefly exchanges words with Maya Torres, the engineer.
Elena, authoritative.
Check the thermal shields one last time. I don't want any mistakes.
Maya calmly replies.
Everything is in order, Commodore. The journey will last 12 years on board, but only a few subjective months, thanks to relativistic propulsion.
Make sure everything is perfect. We won't get a second chance.
Elena, murmuring.
12 years. Long enough to forget.
Scene 3, Dr. Amir Khan interviewed.
Amir stands in front of a hologram of Kepler 438b, explaining why this planet is fascinating.
Amir Khan, enthusiastic.
It's like looking at a distorted mirror of Earth. But something doesn't add up in its data.
Scene 4. Maya, in a sarcastic tone, exclaims.
Administrative delays, as if we needed that.
Jallo answers to Maya.
Crossing the desert told me one thing: patience is a virtue.
Scene 5. Isolated and immersed in her work, Dr. Sophia examines images with geometric shapes transmitted by a probe sent to Kepler 438b 50 years earlier. Her brow furrows as she adjusts the resolution, revealing what seems to be symmetrical patterns etched into the landscape, almost like ruins. The hum of the ship fades as she leans in closer, her breath shallow. She murmurs.
Look at these patterns. They almost resemble signs of intelligent activity.
Her fingers glide across the controls, zooming in on intricate surface patterns that appear on the planet's terrain. A strange rhythm emerges in the formations, too precise to be a random geological phenomenon. A soft chime indicates an incoming analysis report. The AI, Echo, projects a set of unknown symbols correlating with the surface markings. Sophia's heart pounds. Scene 6. A meteorite strikes a hangar at the station, causing fires and explosions. Commander Voss orders the evacuation.
immediate evacuation.
Elena immediately orders a partial evacuation of the base, irritating Maya, who thinks it was an overreaction.
Is that really necessary?
Asks Maya. And Elena responds in a serious, almost threatening tone.
Listen, this mission is my responsibility, and I do not tolerate you questioning my decisions during moments of crisis.
Maya calmly replies,
With all due respect, Commander, I am a survival expert and I know how to assess danger.
I'll try to keep that in mind next time. I don't wish for it, but we will certainly see all kinds of dangers.
Meanwhile, Amir notices that the meteorite's trajectory was unusually precise, as if it had been intentionally directed.
This trajectory, it was too precise. Something's off here.
Jallo detects an anomaly in communications. Some signals seem to be coming from an unknown source near the station.
There's a signal, but it's not from us. What again? This is fulfilled language.
Aliu Jallo tests the ship's neural interfaces with the onboard AI. Everything looks perfect. Jallo notices that some words resemble those of his native language, Fulfodi. He would like to inform his commander, but he hesitates, fearing he might seem ridiculous.
There's a darkness lurking beneath the surface.
In the midst of chaos, Maya Torres, the chief engineer, spots an unusual glint among the debris. A brilliant fragment, almost organic, catches her eye. She approaches it cautiously, intrigued by its strangely pulsating texture. The piece, hypnotically beautiful, emits a rhythmic violet glow, like a miniature extraterrestrial heart. Under her helmet, her eyes betray both urgency and a hint of sarcasm. After carefully retrieving it with telescopic pliers, she hands it over to Aliu Jallo, the secondary pilot, whose gloved hands gently close around the sterile container with unusual care. Aliu strides toward Helena, the central laboratory of the Horizon spacecraft. Inside the container with its blue-tinted walls, the fragment vibrates imperceptibly, as if in sync with his own pulse. In the lab, Sofia Alvarez, the biologist, examines the fragment under a holographic microscope. The structure reveals a troubling hybridization, crystalline fractals intertwined with golden filaments resembling living synapses. Each pulse is meticulously recorded, every oscillation analyzed as a silent language. Sophia holds her breath. Could this thing be conscious? Elena Voss, the commander, observes from the shadows. Her usually stoic face cracks slightly. This fragment is not just a scientific curiosity. It's a trap, or a call for help. Soundingly, Oculus Central, the circular command center of Tranquility Base, is thrown into chaos. A sudden power surge triggers a violent explosion at the heart of the roof, sending green-blue sparks flying and shaking the metallic walls. A sinister crack begins to form along the outer wall, slowly expanding as the vibrations intensify. The shockwave knocks technicians off their feet, some scrambling to cover their heads as emergency alarms blare. Elena Voss stands near a cracked console, her face illuminated by the greenish flames of the explosion, revealing a mix of anger and confusion. She grips her Nova Pulse laser pistol, ready to act despite the uncertainty. Maya Torres rushes toward a damaged section as the progressive depressurization alarm blares. Her multi-tool belt clinks at her waist as she grabs an emergency helmet, swiftly securing it as she runs. The scene is hellish. Violet flames lick the walls, devouring circuits like intelligent mold. The air reeks of ozone and something animalistic, almost fleshy. Maya pulls out her quantum welder, her hands barely trembling. Her eyes lock onto the growing crack in the metal wall. She knows that if it isn't sealed quickly, the station's structural integrity could be compromised. Without hesitation, she activates a high-pressure thermal sealant gun, spraying and expanding foam-like substance onto the breach. Her usual sarcasm is replaced by sharp focus. Every second counts as she fights to prevent a catastrophic failure. A cable threatening to snap glows menacingly. Maya shouts, "Cover me." Elena fires at the cable, vaporizing it before it can cause further catastrophe. Meanwhile, in the lab, Amir Khan, the astrophysicist, stifles a gasp. On his hologram, a symbol flashes identical to those engraved on the fragment. His calculations chill him to the bone. The meteorite was preceded by this signal, as if the universe had anticipated their arrival. Sophia and Elena converge toward the central hologram. The projection reveals moving hieroglyphs, mirrors between mathematics and cosmic poetry. A heavy silence descends. "This isn't a message," Sophia whispers faintly. "It's a warning." Elena finishes, her iron voice barely masking a crack. In the shadows, the AI echo utters a phrase that freezes everyone present. Correlation established. Symbol hashtag 43AB matches incident. Tiamat archives. Classification Omega. As the camera zooms in on the main screen of the ship, strange symbols flash a coded message. Or perhaps a dire warning. The fragment continues to pulse in its container, responding to some invisible force. Aliu, still in the corridors, feels his tribal necklace warm slightly against his skin, as if the artifact reacts to his buried memories. Inside the lab, the violet light pulses in rhythm with a childhood chant he remembers faintly. Meanwhile, Amir's holograms display increasingly unsettling patterns, hinting at deeper anomalies. The cold chill of the lab contrasts sharply with the infernal heat of the damaged machines. Meanwhile, Amir's holograms display increasingly unsettling patterns, hinting at deeper anomalies. The cold chill of the lab contrasts sharply with the infernal heat of the damaged machines. Technology and biology entwine in a dangerous dance. What lies ahead? Why does Kepler 438b seem to already await them? Onto the main screen, symbols animate into a coded sequence. Their glowing contours trace mesmerizing spirals, bridging past and future. Each member of the crew exchanges worried glances, aware that their mission transcends mere space exploration. What truly awaits them on Kepler 438b? And why does this mission feel compromised even before it begins? Departure into the unknown. The gray, dusty surface of the moon stretches endlessly around Tranquility Base, illuminated by industrial spotlights piercing the darkness. Drones float silently in the thin air, completing the final preparation operations. The Horizon spacecraft, massive and imposing, stands before us, its silver flanks gleaming under the reflections of control system lights. Inside the main hangar, the crew is finalizing their preparations. Elena Voss, her face stern but her eyes filled with cold determination, checks every last detail on her holographic tablet. Her fingers glide over the technical schematics as she mutters brief orders through her helmet. Behind her, Maya Torres grumbles while attaching a tool to her belt, casting a sarcastic glance at the technicians overseeing the final loading. More administrative delays, she mutters under her breath, though no one seems to hear her. In a corner of the room, Aliu Jallo adjusts his traditional pule necklace before taking his place near the neural interface. He briefly closes his eyes, murmuring a silent prayer in his native language, as if asking for protection from God. Nearby, Amir Khan anxiously consults his data, frowning at a persistent anomaly in the trajectory calculations. It's impossible. This orbit doesn't follow any known logic, he says softly, almost to himself. Then there's Sofia Alvarez, leaning over a vial containing the organic sample found on the meteorite. She carefully observes the violet matter that pulses gently, as if it were alive. Her expression alternates between fascination and concern. "What are you really?" she whispers, as if hoping for an answer. Then comes the fateful moment. The engines of the horizon ignite with a deep roar, projecting electric blue flames that light up the entire hangar. Lunar dust is sucked in by the force of the jets, creating hypnotic whirlpools around the base of the ship. Sparks fly from the deployed solar panels, forming wings inspired by Sahel birds, a subtle tribute to Aliu and his culture. The interior of the spacecraft vibrates slightly as the systems switch to relativistic propulsion mode. Each member of the crew is now at their station, staring at the holographic screens with a mix of excitement and tension. Elena looks at an old blurry photo of her family, kept in a small discreet pouch. A single tear rolls slowly down her cheek, but she blinks to hide it. For them, she thinks, clutching the military briefcase against her chest. Finally, the warning sirens stop, replaced by a relative calm. The mechanical voice of Echo, the onboard AI, echoes throughout the cabin. Relativistic propulsion engaged. Countdown initiated. Seconds stretch like hours. Glances are quickly exchanged between Maya and Aliu, a silent camaraderie. Between Amir and Sophia, a shared curiosity. Then, without warning, the ship begins to rise majestically, breaking free from the moon's gravitational pull. Through the portholes, the footprints of humanity's first steps on the lunar surface can still be seen before everything is swallowed by infinite space. Time seems to stretch as the thrusters switch to hyperspace mode. An intense purple light envelops the ship, distorting the stars into long streaks of light. The entire universe appears to bend around them, as if Kepler 438b were already calling to them. Now they are gone. Into the unknown. Into the mystery. Toward a destiny beyond what they could have imagined. If you enjoyed the first episode of Season 1 of Shards of Eternity, subscribe to support us and get more content.